Some believe that indeed we should be made to pay realistic prices for our utilities. Others think that indeed we are not getting the right, supplies from ECG and Ghana Water. So indeed, there is no reason why there should be an increment. Well, Kofi Kapito is the CEO of the Consumer Protection Agency. He's with us in the studio this morning. We want to look at the tariffs. Really, if we have to pay more, is it about time that we give ECG and Ghana Water some consideration to pay realistic sums, or should we still be hitting them hard for not providing us with quality and consistent services? Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Kofi.
Good morning to your viewers.
Okay. So ever since this debate came up, I mean, even before the PURC went on to say that indeed tariffs must go up, what did you make of the services we're receiving?
Well, I guess it's not just me. Every Ghanaian was not very satisfied with the kind of quality of services that was being meted out to us. The question you asked is, we should pay realistic tariffs. My answer is, are we going to be paid realistic wages? Because realistic tariffs goes with realistic wages so that I can be able to pay.
Exactly.
And I don't think Ghanaians are paid realistic wages at this point. In any transaction or any business, there's something that is ability to pay. If I don't have the ability to pay, even if you say I should get it at 5 Ghana pesos, if I don't have 5 Ghana, I can't pay. So that is the challenge of the consumer in Ghana. I'm sure if you have enough money to pay your utilities, why not? It is your responsibility. You've used it, and actually it actually behooves upon you for you to also meet your commitment. Once somebody has given you a service, it is now time for you to pay. So it goes hand in hand. But I think at this particular moment,
the services are erratic.
Besides the service being erratic or not being uninterrupted, that one is there. But the question is, when they say realistic wages, even if we are getting reliable supply of electricity,
are we earning
enough for us to be able to pay the realistic? Okay. I'm not against somebody.
So you think it should be in tandem?
Definitely, definitely, because in a country that I think the last time I checked, the minimum wage was about, is it under 5 Ghana a day? It's not even an hour. Okay, we keep doing this and about, it's done in this other market without looking at what the other markets are earning.
Exactly.
Okay, I find it very, very strange. I'm not against the automatic adjustment. I'm only worried about the way it's being implemented. By the look of things, if they are going to implement it every 3 months, I can guarantee you by the end of the year, electricity will be increased minimum 50%. If it's increased 50%, everything automatically will be increased. From you going to the hairdresser, you're going to
pure water,
have this beautiful dress that you have on this morning made. I mean, obviously, it's going to cost a lot of money. This is where I think not just looking at the automatic adjustment.
So you think the formula should be put on hold for a while?
The formula, to me, I find it very, very strange that we're going to assess or revalue electricity every quarter. If we say even at the end of the year, I guess even in Ghana, the government of Ghana does not do its projections and all that every 3 months. They do it at the end of the year. So that is why the president comes to give us the State of the Nation's address as to where he wants to move the country ahead. So if the president has promised that he's going to pay me 50 pesos an hour, and then somebody is allowed to increase it every quarter, how am I going to be able to pay for the difference? That is my worry. We are not a country that I think we should just look at making profits. There are some things that, yes, the government has intervened. They have that lifeline. The lifeline at the rate that Ghanaians are sort of improving. The average household at least would have television, radio, and maybe a fridge. I will not even, maybe a tabletop. If you have these three amenities, I can guarantee you 9 out of 10 you go above the lifeline. And then your income does not support, then you're in big trouble. So this is what I'm looking at. I think as a nation we should look at it again. If we are making or earning enough, because it goes hand in hand. You earn more, you pay for what you spend. But at this particular moment, and we always look at, see in Ghana, one thing I find out is we don't look at the official incomes of the people. Okay, the fact that somebody is driving a Ferrari, does that mean his or her income allows her to drive the Ferrari? We're not looking at it. So they say, oh, if you go to East Legon, if you go to airport, there are houses there. They even know if the person stole the money. Did the government even made any taxes of that money? Okay, so these are the kind of things that we need to look. There's a whole lot that should be looked at. We need to look at it holistically. Okay, like I'm saying, I need electricity, and I need it now. I don't need it tomorrow or the following week. Electricity is like time. 24 hours, if you don't use it, it's gone. So why are you telling me that this particular moment we are in a challenge time? Everybody understands that. My biggest issue with this whole electricity is we've been told different reasons why. Okay, first it was the crude oil, then it became the gas pipeline, and then now they say some. At some point it was the weather. The weather in the west. Yeah, the weather. And then somebody also said that because of some of the machines being out of commission. I want to know, somebody should tell me that all things being equal, are we going to have uninterrupted electricity? Until somebody is able to tell me that, I find it difficult to accept any. Okay. Let's look at the PURC. In your view, as the CEO of the Consumer Protection Agency, would you say the PURC is doing its regulatory work efficiently? In a lot of cases, I'll say yes. When it comes to increasing of the utilities, I'll say yes, because it's their mandate. Exactly. That's what they do. But the question is, even the process of how you and I can get some remedy in case the electricity companies or the water companies do what is wrong. In Ghana, they haven't even defined what is a major fault. Okay, they're out of God. Like today, if it's raining and some transformer goes off, I can excuse them, but not on the nice 85-degree weather. Nothing is happening, and I don't have electricity. Okay, your television is on, it is working. When the light goes off and they turn it back on, your television is not working anymore. And then they tell you that, oh, prove that it was because of electricity. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not God. But all I know is before you turn my light off, my TV was working. If you hadn't turned it off, I'm sure my TV will still work. So, these are the kind, and then they will tell you, oh, it's a major fault. What is a major fault? A major fault should be as it pertains in other jurisdictions where there's a hurricane, there's whatever. Then you know that, yes. But in this part of the world, this rain that is pouring right now, I can guarantee you, some parts of Ghana is gone off. It's normal. But it shouldn't be. Yeah, it shouldn't be. Yeah. When you say people, look, when I lived in America, for 20 years, I experienced blackout in the East Coast 2 times. 20 years. Electricity, the transformer will blow before you know they have on the so-called line gear, where even there's life in the electricity, but they can still repair the lines. In Ghana, they need to shut the whole area off. Well, we haven't reached that stage, but gradually we'll get there. The question is, my biggest problem, and I'm not attacking any particular administration. We just gave $50,000 each to parliamentarians to buy vehicles. How can you tell me that we don't have money? Do you know 50 and they are driving these Nissan Pathfinders? I get angry because you know what? I don't have means of transportation from my house to GTV,
TV3.
to TV3. The question is, if you get that, the least you can do is make sure that when I'm coming here, there's a public transport that will get me here on time. That is how it's done in other jurisdictions. But they will tell you that their job is difficult. Your job is to make my life easier, not your life. And that is what they don't get. You know, and they say, well, why are you always attacking politicians? Because you came to ask for my vote. Actually begging me.
Exactly.
And sometimes even bribing me
to vote for
you.
Okay.
And then after I do that, then you tell me that, oh, I am not the agent for development. When you came to me, I will say it in
I've heard that one.
You know, they will tell you that so I asked them they should explain Impuntuo in English.
Anyway, okay, now let's focus on the consumer. Do we know our rights, especially when it comes to the provision of utilities from the ECG and government?
You know, it's interesting.
Are we aware?
It's interesting that there is a lot of protections as we speak, whether it's the charter from the electricity company or even the Energy Commission also has a document that protects the consumer. Do you know that, and it's a fact, if ECG does not make any effort to bring a bill to you, you've gone there several times, after a year, you don't have to pay any bill that they bring you. It is a law.
But most of us don't know.
No, but the question is because they hide the laws. Okay, this electricity charter, they should give it to every ECG person. If they cannot turn your light off after Thursday night. They don't turn lights off on Friday, even if you owe. All these things are in there. It's a protection of the consumer. But the question is, how many ECG will tell you, and it's a fact. Meters, apart from their official fees that they charge, meters are not for sale. But you go to any person to apply for a meter, they will sell you 3 times, 4 times what official prices. And it's being sold at their districts. So somebody is not doing their job. But if the consumer is aware that if I apply for electricity and I already live in a built-up area or a line area that there's a line, it shouldn't take 5 days for my light to be connected. If they fail, they need to compensate you.
How do we make the consumer aware?
Well, by just what you guys have allowed me to do this morning, and I'm grateful to TV3 for doing that.
Well, we have a consumer protection program.
Well, if you invite me, I can do more. Actually, I'm also starting my own thing at another sister station on Thursday. The question is, we need to talk. You see, in Ghana, we don't talk. We don't ask questions. You know what? There is this commercial by one of the networks, a little kid and the father. And he said, Daddy, can we do this? And then he says, and then? And then he says, and then? And then we should ask those questions. If you give somebody the power or the ability to do something for you, the least you can do is ask him, how come this light is not straight? How come the camera is not focusing on me? Because the cameraman is supposed to do his job. So if he doesn't, the director should make sure that the camera is well focused. Is this excuse in Ghana? We like this, family man, family, and what makes me angry? But this is Ghana. And this same person who is telling you that will get on a plane from Kotoka, misbehave at Kotoka airport, gets to Heathrow airport. The moment he lands there, nobody takes him to a classroom to tell him that there's law and order. He immediately looks at the area and says, I have to behave here. That same person, after behaving for 2 or 3 weeks or even 10 years, gets on the same aircraft, come back to Kotoka, discipline himself at Heathrow Airport. The moment he arrives at Kotoka Airport, It's like deja vu. And these are educated people. My mother, who didn't go to class 1, she didn't go to class 1. I can excuse her. But if she took me to school to learn a system, education is not you being wiser than your mother. You are there to learn a system. Then you bring the system and then apply it to the benefit of your mother, not to the advantage of yourself. Okay, so I'm just saying that electricity, water, look, what's for water is another ballgame.
I know.
Water in Ghana, we don't have a problem of natural water or untreated water. If you go to, since the Kwame Nkrumah Sakosombo Dam and other treatment plants, I think a champion built one treatment plant. It's now that we are trying to build another treatment plant. Do we even plan? We do population census every 10 years. What do we do with the data? Okay, people would, and then let me also say that people also have a responsibility. You do not go and buy a land from some hoodious chief who will tell you. No, I'm just saying, no, I'm talking about the responsibility of ourselves. And then he tells you, Femo, yeah, no mature.
Otherwise, somebody else will come.
No, and besides that, after you finish, then you will come and tell ECG water when they are not even ready to come to that area that they should bring you water. And politicians will also, because of votes, will put pressure on ECG and water, say, take this thing to
exactly. It's very good that you brought up this issue, because ECG for a long period has been talking about obsolete equipment.
Yeah.
And they do have a very good case, really.
It's not even ECG. Grico is worse. Because Grico inherited VRA's equipment. Grico was carved out of VRA. Unfortunately, most of the equipment that they inherited is now that, I mean, let me just say, they are really doing well. Now they bought what is called a SCADA. Okay, a SCADA, unfortunately, is not for the whole Ghana, but a SCADA should tell you precisely which area is off for you to send your engineers for them to. So they are catching up. The question is, if you don't know in terms of how much or how the waste, okay, which is the lost revenue. If you don't know it, if you claim that about 40% of your production is tied into revenue not being accounted for, then there's a big problem. Okay, 5-10% is excusable, but not 40%. It means you are running at a loss. We should look at this, like I'm saying. I find it difficult that we've made electricity and water a political thing. At one time it was called Kofo's Gallon. It became Atamil's, now Ejomahamed's Gallon. Why? Water. If you go to places like Libya, Dubai, I'm talking about desert, Burkina Faso, next door. Now they are bringing us tomatoes and onions. The land of Ghana is 100 times greener than the one in Burkina Faso. It's laziness. If you ask me, it's total laziness. And people who are not held accountable. Because guess what? If all directors who are given positions are fired within 90 days.
You see that happen?
No, it should. Guess what? I said, and this is what I tell people, that yes, if the government appoints me, I will take the position. But if the government does not allow me to do what
you resign,
I will tell you, thank you very much. As is done in other jurisdictions. I don't understand why, if you claim you have a PhD.
Because you have a conscience.
No, it's not a conscience. It's not a conscience. It's about feeling and knowing that I don't need that position to be a Ghanaian.
Exactly, but that's where the conscience comes in.
It's not a conscience.
You find people, real technocrats who've been, employed to head certain institutions. They go in there, and you know the reason why. You know the reason why. 80% of them are appointed because of their political, their party. I won't even say political. It's because of their party. Because they go there to do the bit of the party. They don't go there to do the bit of Ghana. And I have a problem where every 4 years, every 8 years,
a political party will come up with a manifesto. We should have a Ghana manifesto as is done in any other jurisdiction. You come, you look in that
for the
national manifesto. I believe I can do education. I can do roads. That is your campaign promise. Then somebody will say,
national agenda.
Well, but they talk about national agenda how many years now? And then they claim that, like Kofi will say, hey, Kabiro, you know something? If you go to the castle, you meet all them, they'll tell you, Professor Media, Kakebi na me pedi, media Professor media, it's a Munameka. I mean, why?
Thank you very much, Kofi Kapito, for your time this morning. Kofi Kapito is the CEO of the Consumer Protection Agency. Always nice having you around.
No, thank you.
We'll be back.